In the first time that I went to Mount Abu, I met Dadi Prakashmani. I became amazed because her features were so similar to the ones of my grandmother, so I immediately felt very close to her. And I came this first time with a small group from London and Sister Genti, and Dadi came to know that I was from Brazil. At that point, Brazil was the furthest country from India, so she gave me a lot of attention. And she used to ask about my father, what was his profession. She would ask about my mother, what she do. She asked me about my profession. And when I told her that I was a Hatha Yoga teacher, she invited few of the seniors like Didi Manmohini, Dadi Manohar, the little Mohini to her room and requested me to show some Hatha Yoga postures to them. So while I was doing the exercise, Dadi was just imitating me, and all of them were laughing, and everyone was just amusing me the way that we know that Hatha Yoga exercises are. And it was just the way that I started to learn how was the leadership of Dadi Prakashmani. She felt us to feel close to her. She felt us to feel belonging to her. And she knew that to belong to her is just the bridge to belong to something higher, to God. So it was very easy to see her natural ability to make us to belong to her. Also, the way that she would treat everyone just sitting at the courtyard of Madhuban, giving directions, always in that light and natural mood, making people feel close to her and feeling that she was very approachable, how a true leader should be. I remember a few examples about this time also, these old days in Madhuban. Because I was from this faraway country, I was able to stay for an extended period in Madhuban. So sometimes I stayed for 1 month, 2 months, and there was once I stayed for 3 months. And so I stayed many times after the foreigners have already left Madhuban, when the Indian teachers started to arrive. And I have noticed that Dadiji's way of dealing with the Indian teachers was a little bit different from the way that she would be treating all of us from the foreign lands. I mean, she was still very loving and very detached and always with that good mood and lightness. But I could see that she was more like a teacher. She was like more firm, more direct, reminding all these Indian teachers about the purpose of their lives and the way of our lifestyle. And I did ask this question, why was that difference in the way that Dadi would behave with us foreigners and the ones from India? And then I got the answer that because the foreigner's teacher was Dadi Janki, and so Dadi was more just like a mother and a friend for us. While for the Indian teachers, she had to be the mother, the friend, and the teacher as well. So this was a very interesting thing to observe in her behavior. Another time that I remember, she was meeting a group of Indian teachers, about 70 or 80 of them, and one of them asked Dadiji the question, what were the signs of someone who was in their second birth in Brahmin life? It means that the person was a Brahmakumar or a Brahmakumari in their previous birth and then left the body and came back in the other life and belonged again to this organization. And Dadiji very clear, very direct, and very immediately after the question, she gave the answer and said, there are 3 signs of this. The first sign is that the person is going to accept the knowledge and will follow the principles very easily, very naturally. Second the person would be very close to the daddies and the dadas. It means the ones that were elderly in the organization from the beginning, since the organization had started in Karachi. And third, this person would be from a very good family, because if they had been a Brahma Kumar or Kumari the other birth, it means that they had created a good charity in their actions, and so they would come back in a very good home. So it was very interesting, because that also answered many of my questions about how easily and closely I could feel with all the Brahma Kumaris set up. I also remember that I had the fortune to have traveled to Dadiji to some places in India and also abroad. And I especially remember one trip in 1987 to New York, when the Brahma Kumaris had to receive one international award for the International Year of Peace, that it was the previous year, 86, and 6 national awards for an international project that the Brahma Kumaris conducted worldwide, that it was called the Million Minutes of Peace Appeal. And this project consisted in collecting millions of minutes through meditation, through prayer, through artwork, through positive thinking. And we could collect millions of minutes during that time of the project, which was the month of September 86. And for that, the Brahma Kumaris was called in New York to receive these awards, together with other organizations. And it was very wonderful experience, because I went representing Brazil once again, because it was one of the 6 countries that had to receive the award. And during those days, it was just like paradise. We were having boat trips and endless classes with Dadi, and it was just amazing to see how Dadi was natural and easy, and she didn't have any arrogance, even close to those dignitaries, those very important people. So I think that that's also another very big sign of a true leader. They are who they are. They don't have to pretend, they don't have to put any artificial looking, they are just genuine, they are truthful, and that's how they capture the love and the friendship of everyone. I remember also another trip, very loving trip, that I did to Australia. It was the inauguration of their first retreat place in Baxter, in the state of Victoria. And I was there with a small group of foreigners and many Australians, taking part of all those celebrations, which were wonderful. It was one of the first retreat centers that the Brahma Kumaris had around the world. And in fact, it was from that moment that I got this very beautiful picture with Dadi. And again, it seems that when Dadi is with a smaller group of people, and when she consciously has this role of pleasing and giving happiness to everyone, she was in her full swing, so light and really joyful all the time. So it was wonderful few days that are kept in my memory. I also remember when Dadi came for the first time to Brazil in 1984, and she was really surprised that she saw a quite good group of BKs at that point there. And when she asked how many of us have gone to Madhuban or had gone to Madhuban, very few have raised their hands. So Dadi felt that if she could have a plane and carry everyone to India, she would do that. But what she did instead, she sent Dadi Gulzar next year to Brazil in 85. So it was really wonderful to see how Dari Guzar, being the trans messenger of God, could be with us during those days, and it was an amazing experience that all of us had. So I think that these are some good memories that I have from the times that Dari was able to visit us, and she has been to Brazil more times, but I always keep these remembrances, these memories treasured in my heart. Om Shanti.